Attention all F1 fans, welcome to F1 Max. Welcome to a world where red means speed and winning is everything. For decades, Ferrari has been the home of champions, the breeding ground of world beaters, and the dream destination of every driver on the grid. Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion, may be the latest driver to turn his head towards the Maranello-based team. The rumours are getting louder and more persistent, and fans around the world are wondering, will he or won't he? Join F1 Max as we explore the history of Hamilton's relationship with Ferrari and examine the possibility of the greatest driver of our generation donning the famous red suit. Over the last week or so, the rumours about Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari have resurfaced. If you're new to F1, this is not the first time that the 7-time world champion has been linked to the Scuderia. When you're the best driver in Formula 1, Ferrari are always going to be calling. Ferrari are the most successful team in F1 history. Countless F1 drivers have spoken about watching the red F1 car growing up, and Ferrari being a huge inspiration to them. Just think about the amount of current F1 drivers who talk about growing up watching Michael Schumacher dominate Formula 1. In the past, there's been huge speculation about Lewis Hamilton moving to Ferrari. It was a possibility in 2012 when Lewis was looking for a move away from McLaren. At the time, it seemed like the move that would give Lewis another championship-winning car, something McLaren had failed to give him. The move never materialized, and so he instead moved to Mercedes. It has certainly worked out for Lewis, but not for Ferrari. One of the things that may have prevented that move happening at the end of 2012 was who Hamilton's teammate would have been. Things didn't work out brilliantly the first time Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton were teammates. If you want to know why, there was no way in hell that those two could be teammates again. Check out this F1 Max video explaining the fierce rivalry between Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso. So instead of moving to the Scuderia, Hamilton took the chance of moving to Mercedes, who had only returned to Formula 1 a few years prior. Lewis must have been pleased with the move, but despite all of the success that he had with Mercedes, Lewis has spoken during that success about a move to Ferrari. The hybrid era was the era of Lewis Hamilton. He had unrivaled success in the 2010s, with Mercedes continually giving him the fastest car on the grid. Lewis became Mercedes' golden boy, and he kept on bringing the world championships back to Brackley. Despite that, it seems like he was incredibly close to leaving Mercedes during those winning years. Last year, Sky Italy F1 commentator Carlo Vanzini was asked when Lewis was close to joining the Italian team. Vanzini said twice in 2017 and 2019. Hamilton asked for 50 million, and this was perhaps the least of the problems. He also requested a series of people who he wanted with him in Maranello. We don't know how accurate the reports are, but there was certainly a lot of speculation around Hamilton joining Ferrari in 2019. In 2019, Ferrari's chief executive Louis Camilleri revealed that Lewis had talks with Ferrari chairman. At the time, Camilleri said, "It has been made public that Lewis has had conversations with our chairman." He added, "We clearly are very flattered that Lewis in particular and other drivers want to come and join us." A move never materialized, and Lewis is still with Mercedes today. This is certainly not the first time that we've seen Lewis and Ferrari linked. The rumours have been commented on by a number of different F1 personalities, with Martin Brundle having his say. The Sky Sports commentator said, "I think it's absolutely clear that taking that 8th title is everything to him now. I think he wants to drive wherever he can achieve that." Brundle went on to say that he thinks Ferrari could be the team for Lewis to win his 8th. He said, "I think there must be a part of Lewis that thinks, I'd love to go to Ferrari and do a Michael Schumacher and really turn that back into a winning team. If I can't win my 8th or 9th right now, why don't I go and have some fun there?" Hamilton would be following a similar path to Michael Schumacher in moving to Ferrari, already a world champion. Both now and in 1995 when Schumacher joined Ferrari, they were going through a title drought. The German was able to end Ferrari's title drought in the 2000s, so Brundle thinks Hamilton might be the man to end the drought in the 2020s. Brundle was actually Schumacher's teammate before the German moved to Ferrari. When talking about Lewis following the same path, he added, "I'm sure these are all playing in his mind, and he'll be talking to his dad about this as well and his management team, about where to go from here, and that will be exasperated by the dismal performance of the car in Bahrain." We probably would not be hearing quite as much about the possibility of Lewis joining Ferrari if Mercedes had been able to create a car similar to some of the other hybrid-era designs. The W14 has not been a massive upgrade on the W13, and Mercedes seem to be in pretty much the same place they were last year. In Bahrain, both Mercedes were slower than Red Bull and Ferrari throughout the weekend. I'm sure Merc would have expected to be behind Red Bull, but they're still behind Ferrari, and now there is a new threat. Incredibly, Mercedes are not the fastest Mercedes-powered car this season. Aston Martin have been the clear second fastest team in Formula 1 so far this year, with Fernando Alonso picking up 2 podiums in the first 2 races. Merc have shown some improvement from the first race to the second, but it sounds like their design choices have not worked. Team boss Toto Wolff has already had to speak about the changes that Mercedes have made to their design. Merc technical director Andrew Chauvelin said, "Of course, we are looking at where we can improve the car. We're looking for potential to develop, and you'll see visible changes coming on the car over the next few weeks. Sure, it's great that Mercedes have already got upgrades they can bring to this car, but it should be way too early in the season for teams to be coming in with visible changes to the concept of their car." What should concern Mercedes fans is that Lewis Hamilton's opinion on the design of the car was apparently ignored. With all of the experience Lewis holds in driving World Championship winning cars, I'm sure he can probably spot a car that can't win the title. By the sound of it, Lewis had some concerns about the W14 before the season started, and these concerns were ignored. After the Bahrain race, Lewis said, "Last year there were things I told them. I said the issues that are with the car. I've driven so many cars in my life. I know what a car needs. I know what a car doesn't need. I think it's really about accountability." Hamilton went even deeper with his criticism of the team, saying, "It's about owning up and saying, yeah, you know what, we didn't listen to you. It's not where it needs to be, and we've got to work." How can you have a 7-time F1 world champion in your car and not listen to him? I mean, a Mercedes trying to push Hamilton to Ferrari. It is unlikely that we would be hearing Hamilton complain about the team not listening to him if Mercedes had the fastest car on the grid. But you would have thought that the opinion of one of the best F1 drivers of all time might help you make a better F1 car. Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff has not done anything to ease the concerns of Mercedes fans, suggesting that Lewis might need to start looking around for a championship-winning car. Toto did say, "I don't think that Lewis will leave Mercedes. He's at the stage of his career where we trust each other. We've formed a great bond among each other. We have no reason to doubt each other, even though this is a difficult spell." But he went on to add, "As a driver, if he wants to win another championship, he needs to make sure that he has the car. And if we cannot demonstrate that we can give him the car in the next couple of years, then he needs to look everywhere. I don't think that he's at that stage, but I would have no grouch if that happens in a year or 2. It is actually an incredibly level-headed comment from Toto. If Mercedes cannot give Lewis the car to win that 8th championship he desires, then he is free to look elsewhere. I'm sure that Mercedes would hate to see Hamilton leave, but it does seem like if the 7-time world champion decides to leave, it will be for Ferrari. Having grown up watching Ferraris in Formula 1, Lewis has always had a dream to drive for the Scuderia. He's spoken about that dream a bit in the last few years. In a 2021 interview with Sky Sports Italy, Hamilton said, "It's definitely going to be crazy to think I've never drove for Ferrari. Of course, I look at the colour and the red, it's still the red. For everyone, that's a dream position to be in." He certainly talks about the Scuderia like a man who wants to drive those red cars. But more recently, Lewis has ruled out a move to the Scuderia. In a 2022 interview, he said, "Of course, it would be nice to race for Ferrari during my career, but things happen because of a reason. Mercedes is my family. I will always be a Mercedes driver, just like Sterling Moss." These comments came when Mercedes were able to give him a championship-winning car. But now, it seems like Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari could be back on the cards. So what do you think? Will we be seeing Lewis Hamilton driving for Ferrari very soon? Or will he finish out his career with Mercedes? Why not put your thoughts in the comments down below? While you're down there, why not hit the like button and subscribe? Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.